Hello viewers, welcome to Core for Any. If you hear new, hit subscribe buttons and notification bell so you can never miss any our incredible content. Flutter Taxi Apps inside today we need to create here the home screen UI designs we need to complete here previous video inside we need to add here the OSM free plugins map need to add inside the both need to see these configurations, and today we need to see this here the design this home screen. First of all we need to create this bottom UI, and then after we need to create this top UI. After we need to create this floating buttons need to plus or minus need to create this here the this value, and also need to create here the find trips UI we need to develop this here, and we need to create today titles we need to set this here, and to as well as user profiles buttons we need to set this here the today. Let's start how to write down inside the overview. First of all we need to create this here the stack. Inside we need to create here the column, set here the children's like these sets, and now need to set here the main axis alignment set as a bottoms. We need to set this here, set here the end. Now we need to first of all the create this here the bottom this view we need to develop here. First of all we need to import this all images, we need to export, select this here, and to command E to press this here the and to give this open. At this set this here the exports now, and this is close PTM sets text image. Need to export this here. Now we need to set this here the all images edits inside the assets folders, and now need to put this here the this assets. Also need to give this here the user profiles for to needs one image. Need to use this here the image is set this here this image for the user image. Now need to develop here the bottom UI. First of all need to create this here the row, and to give this here the space between. Set here the main axis alignment, set this here the space around, space between need to give this here like this UI. Need to set this here. First of all need to create here the go buttons in 12 at this sets here children's. Now need to create here the set stack. Give this here alignment as I need to set this the centers. Now need to sets, and now need to create here the children's, and to create first of all the containers we need to need this here. Give this here the width and heights. We need to set this here the 17. Also need to create here the box decorations. Set here the colors. Need to this here the secondary colors. Need to set this here. Also need to create here the border radius. We need to set here border radius circulars 35. Need to set this. Also need to create here the box shadow like this sets. Give this here colors like 12. Now need to set here the blur radius. Need to set this here the 10s. Also need to give this here the offset, set here offset, and here I like this sets here sets value. like this set here. Now we need to save this here and to displaying this here, not give this here like this displaying here. Now also need to create here the bottoms. Need to create here the containers. Also do this here the columns like this at this here, and now need to develop this here the decorations. Copy this here the box decorations and to give this here the color with some value. Need to pass this here for the required here set here the color white. Also need to set here the only give this here the top radius circulars. Need to set this here the pi, as well as need to this here the top right. Need to set this here the circular radius that is a pi, like this sets here the UI and to this here the const value here sets here. Now need to create here the icon buttons. Need to set this here, give this here the on this event. Also need to set here the icons. Need to here this value here width. Need to set here the 15s, as well as need to give this here. Now need to set. Now need to use here the open buttons. Copy this relative path and to here on the sets like this sets here, and displaying like this, and to use this here the also need to create here the column. Also need to set this here the paddings. We need to needs post edges inset symmetric. Need to give this here the horizontals. Need to set is at 20, and verticals need to also give 20, like set this value here, and displaying this UI. Now need to create here the titles. Need to set this here. Also need to increase this shadow, this minus pi sets. Give this here the some space. Here the cost value. That here the size box. Give this here 40, as well as sets constants. Also need to need this here the copy here, and to create here the another buttons for the inkwell buttons. On tab events for clicking the go buttons. Also need to copy this here these containers and to draw here and to set this here the 5 to set this here the color white and to give this here the only borders gives here border walls. Need to give this here the colors, need to give this here white colors. Also need to set here the width to give this here as a 2 at this here its value is to give this here 1 and to set here 16 cents 1.5 speed. Also need to create here the centers and to write down here the text and to set here the alignments as a text align centers. Align centers need to give this here the container alignments, and now need to give this here buttons row and to this here the styles. Set here the text styles. We need to set this here first of all the colors, color whites to give this here. Then after need to set this here the font size. Also need to check this here. Set here the 22 extra bolts. Need to give this here the font weight. Give this here font weight 800. At this sets here, then give const value sets this here. Now need to check. Now this is the buttons displaying goods for this UI, and also need to create here the cross axis alignments. Need to this here the set here the end like this sets. Now we need to create here the inkwell buttons. Give this here the border radius. Also need to this here to copy this border radius and need to select here the inkwell buttons. To set here the 20 and to create here the events on tab event, set this here. Also need to create this here the on. This here the children's. Now need to create here the image sets and to set this here the width and height. Set here the 40 and to give this here the current locations buttons. Need to set this here the image relative path and to create these buttons like this displaying here this UI. Also need to set this here the row the paddings. You need to set this here. Give this here the symmetric horizontals. You need to set this here the 20 like this sets, and to increase these heights set as a 50. Also need to change here it's displaying here the 50 and this UI are the displaying goods. Also need to copy these containers and to give this here the shadow inside the image. Paste this here, cut this UI here. Also need to here Now this is the give this here the shadow working goods, no any issue. And now need to create here the buttons. First of all need to copy this here the bottom bars need to create here the same like this. And also give this here the axis elements that has the space between like this give. Now need to set this here the UI type offline. Also need to set this here the primary text. Just need to click here. Also need to check this here the font size 18 extra bolts. Also need to give this here the size box need to this here, so need to copy here the height and width you need to give and to displaying here the center this UI. Here the 15. Now this is the displaying in the centers now, and also need to see here the like this displaying this UI. And now need to see here the bottom. Yeah, I need to develop this here the boxings. Need to displaying first of all need to create here the spreading here. Here for it. Now need to create here container. Set this here. Now set into here the box decorations. Copy these decorations and to this here like this UI. Need to give this here the borders. Need to set this here as a need to see yours. Now need to create here the row children's. Now need to expand row, define this like this UI. To person to create here columns. Now need to set this here. Need to give this here the cross axis alignment. Center sets. Now need to image you get the image sets. This here the name, but you also need to set this here the acceptance. Image you need to set this here to do this here the width and heights. You need to set this here the 20 heights. Also need to see here the 20 like this sets. Now need to set this here the percentage of the value. Need to copy these titles and to put this here. This here the height space set as a 8 like sets. So need to paste this here, and to give this here the percentage of the value, need to set here. Also the fonts need to hit in extra bolts like this sets here, and to set this the cost value. And again so need to copy this here text and to set this here the titles, descriptions, and to here the colors secondary text. Also need to check this here the 16 regulars, need to set this here the fonts like this value. Now need to convert inside the common UI, need to decorations here. First of all set this here the size boxed, and need to set this here the height here 100. Also need to share alignment, set center. Need to see the UI, and to create here the common UI, first of all need to go inside our the common widgets, create new files. This here icon, title, subtitle, at this and here the stateless widgets. Give this here the icon, title, subtitle, button. Give this here the names, create here the widgets. Now need to paste this codes here. Also need to import here the extensions, and to set here widgets on tabs events, need to here like this. Now need to create here suppose need to set this here the titles, and after us need to give this here the subtitle. Also need to give this here the icon, then after need to this here the void callbacks, need to develop this here on press event, and all parameters imports inside the constructors. Now need to set this here, then one by one need to set this value here. Icon as I need to pass here the icons, subtitles as I need to pass here the subtitles. Also need to give this here the titles like this, set this here the value, save this here, and to import these buttons inside the home view like this, sets here. Now need to set this here, give this here titles value, percentage, need to give this here this percentage. Now need to set this here the subtitles, Now need to set this here the icons. Copy this relative path and to give this years and to set this here the on press events. Set like this. Create here the duplicate these buttons. Now need to give this here the rating. And to give this here the rate icons, copy this relative and to put this here this value and like this displaying here UI. So need to create here the sears. Now need to set this here the give this here the cancellation. And to set this here the cancellations image. Like this, need to set this here the UI and this issue here the this spacing issue. Need to do this expand. So now here. Also need to see here the get the row and to create this expand. Let this set this here. For successful events, we need to set this here the turn like this. Create here the padding. Need to set here symmetric. Horizontals need to set this here the 15 like sets. Now need to also create here the dividers here the not working here the paddings. Create here the content. Set here decorations. Set here the box decorations and to here the color. Placeholders need to here the colors sets here. So need to here the height. Need to set this here the 100. Also this value as a height value and width you need to give here the 1. Now this is the Set here opacity 0.5. We need to set this as well. Now this is the displaying good this here, so need to copy this here, paste this here the dividers, and to set here the 0.5. Need to give this here the double max bits. Set this value, put this here, this value, select this. Now this is the box displaying are the goods this years, no any issue for this UI. And now need to configure here these buttons. So reminders need to set this year's set state. On it is open like this, sets this here by the last here the copy this here and need to set this here the open btn image, set this value, and need to set this sets for the close buttons. Also need to set here one conditions for this value. Is open, then displaying, otherwise not displaying this value here like these conditions. Need to set this here. Now need to set this here status, set state, and need to set here the is open flag. We need to create here the vice versa is, if open then close, close then opens. Need to like this, set this here the clicking events. Now need to click this here, use this here. Now this is the displaying good this here, no any issue. And this is UI working goods, no. Now need to create here top inside the top row. Need to develop here. Columns. Also need to create here the safe area. And after need to create here the column like this, set this here, and to give this here the alignments. These alignments need to this here the start. Here the set this here value. Now we need to create here the row, set here. Also need to create here the one size box for this value. Give this here the width. We need to set here the 60, and to this here main axis alignment. Set space between select sets. Over this here to paste against. Also need to get here the containers. Copy, insert this here bottom view. Set this here value. Inside into let's see here the and to give this here the in like this here the circular 13 const to give this here the const value is sets here. Now need to create here n axis size is here the minimum. Now need to create here the text property. Copy this text and to give this here the value as a text property. Now need to set here the dollar signs for the value. Also need to set here the cross axis elements. Need to set as a start value. Need to set this here like this UI and to give this here the slash create inside the dollar string. Now need to give this here the secondary text and also need to check this here the font size. Need to put in extra bolts. Need to set this here the dollar value. Also need to create here the this here the width space. Give this here it like this sets. Now need to paste this here the codes and to set this here the value. Also need to set this here heading. Here 15 like this sets. This here set this value here and to check this here the font value 25 primary tag. Here the secondary like this displaying this UI here and to also need to here this value. Now this is the displaying goods and to set here 26 more dark. Need to set this value here. Also need to create here the user's value. Now need to create here the with this here the red text all of these here, and also need to set here the alignments. Bottom left we need to set this here, sets here. Now need to create here the one containers and to give this here the box decorations. To first of all the copy here to decorations and to set this here like this value here. It is get this here restriction null. this here the size box, to give this here the 16. Give this here the decorations, titles here. Also need to set here the border width. No, to set this here the padding. Launched. Pages insert. Give this also need to set here the to like this value and to create here. Give this here the image. Give this here the profile, copy this relative path and to this here. Also need to give this here the width as a need to set here 40 as well as heights 40 and like this set this value here, and also need to create here the graph with widgets and to clip or wrapped need to set this here. This here border radius here the 20. Set this value to this UI and to remove this shadow, no needs. Sets. Now need to create here the base UI. Need to develop this here, copy this constructor and to put this here. Sets. Also need to set here the margin. Must just insert only. Give this here the need to set this here the 15 like value. Now need to create here the text field. Copy this text value and to this here the value. Like this sets here. Also need to check this here and regular. Give this here color white. Sets here. Here the base value need to set this here. Also need to set this here the padding. Give this here the color reds need it like sets here. To set here the constant. Set here the box constant. Give this here the minimum width. Need to set this here. Like this here, this value. So need to give the alignments. Need to set this here the center. To give this here symmetric horizontal, so need to set this here the vertical to give. Now this is the displaying goods, and to also need to change this here left padding. I need to set this here the tense like this, displaying this UI. Next day inside we need to create this UI with the bottom titles. That as well as need to create inside the next video. Need to develop this here. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down in the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. And everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.